little bit later. And if you do, I definitely have some concerns. So, Drive to Survive season 6 is out in full, and I do have some concerns. I have not concerns. I have some inquiries. I have some things I would like to know from the creative body that put this entire season together. Because to me, it seems that there's a lot of shit missing that definitely should be in a show that I believe majority people would consider a dramatization of Formula One. That's what I believe. What's up, Galactus? Up in the chat. I think that there's a lot of shit missing. And I'm wondering, why is it missing? And if it is missing for a valid reason, why has this reason been allowed to cause Drive to Survive not to depict things that we clearly knew happened in a season of Formula One that definitely should have been dramatized? It didn't even need dramatization. It didn't even need it. On its own, it was drama. So first of all 10 teams are not really covered here. All 10 teams are not really covered in this season of Drive to Survive. And I find it very funny. So in Drive to Survive, of course, we got Alpine. All right, we got Alpine. They even go in, and this is what's funny to me. They go into other teams where they've had drama, and with these other teams having drama, they've put it on screen. They've allowed it to be a portion of what they're talking about. And what do I mean when I say this? Well, they go into Alpine, and we all know the driver debacle in the pairing of Ocon and Gasly was explosive since they were kids. We know this since they were kids. And it revealed or was present on track, wrecking each other out. DNFs, double DNFs, multiple in a season. They go into that. They go into the firing of Otmar. They go into the situation with Rossi. They go into all that with Alpine. Okay, so we got Alpine done. Check. They go into Mercedes. They're talking about situations where they wanted to act like they were too high and mighty. And when I say they, I'm not talking about Drive to Survive. I'm talking about Will Buxton initially. I'm talking about the biggest platforms that report on Formula One acting as if they are too good to talk about things that might be theories or rumors in Formula One. What am I talking about, Wolfpack? Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari. They talk about that. They show and depict Lewis Hamilton being very impatient and anxious about the fact that his team has underdeveloped and not produced the car. They go into that. Check. Mercedes. Then they go into Ferrari. They even a bit shine the light on Ferrari, maybe having driver pairing issues. Fred Vasseur sitting at the table with Charles and Carlos about, hey, we can't be battling each other on track like that so much. I'm paraphrasing. They go into that. So Ferrari, check. They talk about McLaren. Talk about McLaren a little bit. Lando, all that. Cool, check. They talk about Aston Martin, going to Lance's surgery, his wrist, coming back, all this other stuff. Aston Martin, check. They talk about Williams. James Vowles on the emergence, bringing Williams back to life, showing Albon, showing Logan Sargent, going into this situation. Williams, check. All this Drive to Survive is talking about. All this they're talking about. They even go into Haas with Gunther, wavering on his career, which he ended up getting let go any damn way. But they go into that. Sauber, who really cares? But still. Then AlphaTauri, Red Bull Visa Cash App, same in the one. They talk about Danny Rick. They talk about Nick DeVries' situation. Now, Nick DeVries, Adrian Newey, Perez on a boat. They on a boat. But why didn't we get anything about Red Bull? Why didn't we really get anything about Red Bull? Is Drive to Survive now part of the controversial situation where we don't really show Red Bull? We got Christian Horner right now on deck for about to get his career just sacked for doing what he doing out there, having a good time, maybe he got his ass cheeks in the stream, not Bodas. He just ain't taking pictures of his ass cheeks. I don't know what he got, but it's a lot of information. There's a lot of smoke and shit's catching on fire. Christian Horner might not be here. So I'm saying that this Drive to Survive shit is starting to come off a bit like, is this a show where they are now going to join the ranks of we gonna help mask and cover up Red Bull? Because I think Max Verstappen is a 2-3-time champion, right? 2-3 time. I call him a 2-time champion because 2021, but 3-time champion on the statistical sheet. He's on the cover. Why the hell didn't we get a lot about Max Verstappen and Red Bull? This supposed to be your premier driver. This supposed to be your premier team. This is a team that's trying to go on a 4-peat, and they not in the Drive to Survive series like that? Are we counting AlphaTauri, Red Bull, Visa, Cash App as Red Bull? Is that what we're doing? Because that's not supposed to be the case. AlphaTauri is supposed to be their own separate team, but we all know they not. We all know they not. But where's Max? Okay, this is what I got to ask this creative body. I got to ask this creative body. Did this not happen? Sergio, on the other hand, is already over 30 and is expecting his 4th child, so he also has other interests, so you have to see what happens next. That's Helmut Marko, right? Also Helmut Marko. He was lucky with his pit stops that gave him the lead. Criticizing your other driver as if we didn't strategize to get him in there. It was just by luck. We would never. You know what that comes off to me? That comes off to me as saying we would never choose a strategy that would put Perez in front of you, Max. That was strictly a luck of the draw. That was a mistake. That's what it comes off. Why was this not in Drive to Survive? Helmut Marko. Not only that, Christian Horner was on the radio apologizing to Max and pretty much saying, yeah, Perez just got lucky. That's your other driver. Why is that not in Drive to Survive? That ain't drama enough? That ain't some shit that you should have in there? Okay, well, if that's not, how about this? Sergio seemed to have fallen asleep with the VSC ended. Maybe he drank tequila last night. That ain't enough to put in Drive to Survive? Okay, if that's not enough, let's talk about the next one. We know that he has problems in qualifying. He has fluctuation in form. He is South American. No, he's not. He's Mexican. And he is just not as completely focused in his head as Max Verstappen is, or as Sebastian Vettel, who are not even with the fucking team anymore. Not even with the team. So now you don't know where Perez is from. He's your second driver. You don't know where the fuck he's from. You don't know the difference between South America and fucking Mexico. And then you criticize him mentally, as if mentally he is not on the level as 2 white European drivers, one who doesn't even fucking drive for you anymore. Got the most championships, but doesn't even drive for you anymore. So why are you comparing Perez to a driver who has left your camp 2 teams over? Vettel's fucking retired. That ain't juicy enough to put in Drive to Survive. That's just on Helmut Marko. We ain't even got to Max Verstappen in the season yet. So I gotta ask this creative body, why is none of this in Drive to Survive season 6? Because 7 is coming, and on the very crest of the season, we already got Christian Horner from Red Bull in a fucking shitstorm. That better be in there. That better be in there. If that's not in there, y'all need to start protesting this shit. Why is this not being put in there? So then here we go next. Max Verstappen. Over the years, Lewis hasn't had the strongest teammates. Are you shitting me? That wasn't in there. Y'all talked about Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari. Y'all talking about Lewis Hamilton there in Mercedes, George Russell. But hold on. We got meetings with Toto Wolff and Lewis Hamilton. But wait a minute. Y'all don't want to talk about Max Verstappen trying to criticize Lewis Hamilton's teammates, which are champions, by the way. Alonso was his teammate. He's a champion, multiple champion. Goddamn, Valtteri Bottas was his teammate. He was a superior, nice driver until now at Sauber. Hold on. Nico, who a lot of people like to try to say, oh, yeah, he schooled Lewis Hamilton. Be fucking for real. Nico got one and ran the hell up out of there. Your teammates have never been champions. Max Verstappen doesn't have one teammate that's even close to fucking damn near George Russell. Some of y'all would not even, some of y'all would debate if Sergio Perez is a better driver than George Russell. I know y'all damn well would debate if Alex Albon is a better driver than George Russell. I know damn well y'all would debate if Gasly is a better driver than George Russell. Are you really shitting me right now? Max Verstappen hasn't had one teammate that I would say is confirmedly better than George Russell, let alone Valtteri Bottas, let alone Alonso, let alone Nico. What are we talking about? But this not even in Drive to Survive? What? This not in Drive to Survive? Okay, all right, whatever. But he has also had the best car. And when you have the dominant car, the only one you are really fighting is your teammate. Hold up, Max. Hold up. This not in Drive to Survive. Danica Patrick, Miss, I'm a driver, so I can tell you a little bit about this. Talking about Lewis Hamilton and you got to go. Why you didn't bring this shit up? Why they didn't bring this up so Danica could have talked about Max Verstappen and him talking about having a dominant car? Max, you got the dominant car right now and last season. But you criticizing him, so I guess we should devalue, because Alonso talked about it, right? Even Alonso said some stupid shit like, Lewis Hamilton's championships aren't as valuable as Max's. 7 championships are not as valuable as the 3 that Max Verstappen, well, 2 at that time, has. That wasn't worth putting in Drive to Survive so we could talk about this shit. Now that Max Verstappen has criticized Lewis Hamilton about having the dominant car and you only fighting your teammate, bro, you got the dominant car damn near 2 seasons back to back. The most dominant car that could be debatably argued in Formula One history. Your teammate has one hand tied behind his back, but he chose to live that life. So I'm not going to say, hey, I'm not going to fight for Perez on that anymore. But are you shitting me talking about the dominant car and you only got to fight your teammate? You don't even have to fight your teammate because your team makes sure you don't. You got the most dominant car in fucking Formula One history. So are we supposed to devalue your shit based on your words? That's not in Drive to Survive? Why is that not in Drive to Survive? That ain't worth watching and talking about. I think that's juicy shit to let people talk about. Will Buxton especially, you should talk about that. Will, Danica, Drive to Survive, Creative Body. Okay, I see what we got going on, the cover-up show. Zach even talked about this. I think the A and B team is a real problem moving forward. This is not something new that Zach talked about. This is not something new that Zach talked about. Why is that not in Drive to Survive? We got Max, a champion who's supposed to be a representative of the Formula One motorsports because he's the champ, right? We got Max conducting himself like a spoiled fucking brat in a sim racing game and runs off, clips a corner, pulls a damn Ocon, clips dude, and runs him off track. But this your champion. But that's not in Drive to Survive? That's not in Drive. Matter of fact, hold up. Wait a minute. If we want to really just keep it in Formula One, hold up. Was this not in the season? Did we not have a situation where we was going about this? Was this not, is this Max Verstappen? Is that not Max Verstappen, y'all? I think that's Max Verstappen. Is that not Max Verstappen right there? Is that Max? I just need to know. That's Max Verstappen right there holding up pit lane, right? That's him. So wait a minute. We had a whole situation in 2023 about pit lane regulations coming on, going off, and all types of shit. Why do we have that? Because Max decided in Singapore, he's going to, the light's green, Max is going to hold up everybody, impede. Max Verstappen is going to impede pit lane exit, hold up everybody so he can gain an advantage for qualifying a practice, right? That's what he did. So then what did they do? Hold on, that's not the only one. Wait a minute. Is this not Max Verstappen? Passing all shit like he don't want to impede pit lane. Now he want to try to drive by everybody in pit lane erratically. Is this not Max Verstappen? That's not in Drive to Survive? I got the footage. I damn well know you got to have the footage. You gotta have the footage. Is this not Max Verstappen almost hitting a cameraman? Is that not Max? Is that not Max? Wait a minute. None of this in Drive to Survive. None of that in Drive to Survive. Why? This footage right there, that definitely is a talking point. It was a talking point damn near to the end of the season. That was the end of the season. That's Max, right? So I'm just saying, I got all this shit and y'all didn't put none of this in here. That's Max right there being dangerous. That's Max right there being dangerous. After, like, he impeded pit lane, and then they made a rule to help him with impeding pit lane, and then he drove crazy, and then y'all had to retract the rule later on. That's not in Drive to Survive? Y'all shit me. Listen, I watched that shit, and I said, there's something missing. Then I said, Red Bull was really not in Drive to Survive. Why? Why? Is Drive to Survive about to just become the cover-up Red Bull show? We're not gonna bring attention to all the shit y'all did in the season. We're just gonna glaze over it. Name the second team, RB, Red Bull, Visa, Cash App, and then since we put them in it, technically we covered the whole team. All 4 cars, all 4 drivers, both teams. Is that what we're doing? All that. Some of that should have been in Drive to Survive. I mean, we talked about Gasly and Ocon as driver pairings. We even went into Ferrari as Carlos and Charles had some tips as driver pairings. Max and Perez, by far, not wrecking on track, but as a relationship, had a big rift that should have been in Drive to Survive. How was Perez going to come back after being disrespected by Helmut Marko, after being disrespected by his teammate, after his teammate's mother disrespected his marriage? How was Sergio Perez going to come back to Red Bull? That's not in Drive to Survive. Shenanigans. Shenanigans. I got to call this out. This shenanigans. It was absolutely, to me, in my opinion, this Drive to Survive, to me, was probably one of the worst, probably the worst. Honestly, it probably was the worst to me. And when I say worse, let me not say worse and it wasn't somewhat interesting. It was worse because it was an indictment that you obviously purposely glazed over an entire team that had dysfunctional situations going on, that had Formula One on-track situations going on, and even to the regulations changing to facilitate one driver, and then he acted like a jackass after that, and you had to rein it back in. All this happened, and y'all didn't even cover not one bit piece of it. And this is the champion, and you got the nerve to have him on the cover of Drive to Survive. I bullshit you not. On the cover of Drive to Survive is Max Verstappen. Or am I tripping? If I'm tripping, then let me know, because I could have swore that this person right here, is that not Max Verstappen? Is that not a number 1 on the car? Because this is Drive to Survive, one of their images for their product. So if you're not going to have the guy you got on the cover in the actual show, whole series, episodes and series of a show, why he on the cover? Why he even on the cover? It's crazy, man. It's crazy. And I'm going to tell you like this. There shouldn't even be an ability or an option for a team not to participate or have their team. If you don't want to participate, sure, don't show up to do the clapboard. Cool. You don't got to show up. But the boom mic is there. The camera is there because we have the right to record everything that happens on this Formula One track so we could put it in the show. So you're not going to have the right to just blank out everything. You don't want to participate, show up to do the interview? Cool. Don't show up, do an interview. Don't show up to do a talking piece. But we gonna put that in the show that you was breaking pit lane entry, exit shit, and you was impeding, and then they changed the rules, and then you erratically drove. You almost hit a fucking cameraman. We gonna put that in the show. But they didn't. So now I got to wonder, is Drive to Survive on the take? It would seem like it to me because all that stuff that I just brought up, I damn well know they know it. And they didn't even put any bit or piece or part of it in there. So there you go. If you were not wanting to watch Drive to Survive, don't watch it. I watched it for you. I'm letting you know it's shenanigans. It's shit. It doesn't really do anything. They've moved off the mark from what they started to become, what they were going to become, and now they've become part of the whole machine of just protect Red Bull by any means necessary, even if we got to make our product shit, because we're obviously not going to cover a team that has a constructor championship, a team that has a multiple world driving champion in it. We're not going to even really cover that, and we're not going to cover all the controversial situations that took place. The fact that Helmut Marko had to come out and apologize because he racially disrespected a cultural people as well as his number 2 driver. The fact that Christian Horner has said spiteful things. It seems like there's not an equal opportunity situation for both drivers in the garage. The fact that Max Verstappen is going to be a jackass and not help his teammate and do everything he can do just to be all about himself, which I can't blame him for some of that because it is what it is. Formula One, you got to go out there and win, and your teammate is kind of your competition, but not so much as other teams and other drivers in the other garages. So, Drive to Survive, you suck. 2 thumbs down. 2 thumbs down on Drive to Survive. Don't even waste your time on it. I just wasted my time for you. Vicariously live through me. We will be at Wolves Den today to talk about Bahrain. We're going to talk about Bahrain today. So be in the Wolves Den. All Wolfpack YouTube family members, show up. I already got the post in there for you. We're going to talk about your thoughts on Bahrain for about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. I want to hear what you have to say. That is some of the perks of being in the family. It's not a perk that definitely comes with your YouTube membership. It is a perk and a privilege to be in there. And if you act up, you're getting kicked out. If you come with all the spitefulness and all the other crap and you want to come in and leave and go do your other thing, go do that. Just do it. Don't talk about us. Just go do your other thing. So we will be in the Discord today. Y'all come on through, pull up. 12 Eastern Standard Time this noon, okay? So adjust your clocks accordingly. I don't know what time zone you in. Figure that shit out. Put it in Google. Find out what time 12 Eastern Standard afternoon time is. Well, noon time is for you. And be in the Discord, in the live chat. I will see you there. Wolfpack out. Peace.